Hey guys, Arm&Gun here tonight, taking a look at the Black Label Bipod integrated handguard and bipod that I have outfitted on this AR-10 style rifle. So let's pop this thing out, take a few shots with it, give you guys a good overview on this handguard bipod integrated system. All right, let's get behind this thing and take a few shots. So, with the bipod legs fully extended, you can see there's plenty of room to get even a 20 round PMag here. Easily inside the gun. You can get it in, you know, you can take it out. You've got a decent amount of manipulation room. You've got a 40-degree tilt, and you've got some padding as well. The legs all the way in. Nice, easy to use system for that. Now here, you're pretty much going to be flush. You wouldn't be able to put more than a 20 round mag in there, but you still have plenty of room to pretty much, without getting up too high on the gun, you can swap stuff out and around. Again, those legs are really fast to deploy, which is pretty nice actually. You can definitely grab onto a leg if you want to get a little extra sturdy when you're preloading. Now let's take a few shots. So, ambi bolt release here. Looking through a gorgeous ZCO 420 optic. Oh, hammering those targets. You guys can see them way in the corner there. Go for the bottom one now. Smacking them. Hoorah! And that was a good full mag. If you guys watched my shooting video on this thing a little while back, you will notice that it did not cycle very well unless I had the right ammunition and stuff in it. This is still, I can tell by the smell of it, I'm still using that funky Australian surplus, the Hertenberger. 7.62x51 surplus. It's running really nice. And again, Gen 2 PMags, at least for this early girl. All right, let's jump in a little closer here and look at the manipulations on the bipod from up close. So you can see everything is, well, let's put it away and then we'll pull it out and you'll see everything straight away. So here we go, nice and collapsed, looking really good. Again, this whole bipod system weighs about handguard and bipod. Now this is the AR-10 model. It's a little bit bigger and it's a 16-inch. You can get it in a 14-inch as well, I believe. This is a 16-inch. It comes in AR-15 models as well as for some bolt guns like the Sako, Tikka, and Ruger Precision as well. I believe they're working on some other models out there as well. So first things first, 29 grams, which might seem like, that would be feather light, 29 ounces. So we're getting up there, 1.8 pounds. I think it's something like 820 grams, something like that too. So it's hefty, but when you factor in a typical, Atlas bipod at about 15 ounces, and then a typical, 16-inch AR-10 handguard at about another 10 to 12 ounces, depending on the style, of course, you're right up there. So realistically, this is just a gorgeous option. It looks gorgeous. It's really nice to have everything tucked in really nice and tight. I mean, you're not really any bulkier than any normal handguard for an AR-10. This is actually really sleek. Really like that I can get my hands all around it. When you're packing it in the bush, you don't have the extra things hanging off to get snagged on. And I mean, I gotta tell you, I still love external bipods, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the flexibility of quick detach systems like the AccuTac. Love those things, and I throw them on a ton of guns. However, despite that, I would still have one gun set up ready to go like this, especially for hunting. It's just so handy to have this out in the bush, just nice and sleek and slim, and oh, it's great. It's great. But anyways, that's enough talking. Let's go through the controls. So the bipod arms, they just swing right out like that, all right? And then you got a little clip here in this little central module thing. So there's feet. There's actually different types of feet now. There's these rubber tipped ones. There's also like a spiky claw one as well. Then, pretty cool, the way you adjust for the length, there's a little button right here. You just push that in. So you push it in and then rotate it and then just slide down. And once you're in a position, so let's go halfway, there's little detents all the way down it. can see better from this side. You can see a little silver ball. You press it in, it kind of goes in, and then it gets there. And when it gets to a spot, it locks both in and out. You're not going to move it basically at all. So that's a pretty nice little system. It's slick, it's fast, can more or less operate with one hand, which I think is pretty cool. To get those arms back in, you're going to see there's a nice little button right up on this little central globe here. So you're going to depress that, slide it in, and it's in. So they can be a little bit finicky if both of them are out, for example, and you've moved this. This isn't quite off center anymore. So then you're gonna go to put this in, it's gonna line up over there. You're kind of like shimmy it into place, which isn't hard, and then you get the other one in. So it's honestly, it's not a big deal. It just was one quick comment. I'm filming this on my iPhone actually to see that the owner of Black Label Bipods, Dalton there, he just texted me back. I asked him a couple questions saying I was doing this video, and I just look through my phone camera I'm doing this particular video with, and I just see the text popped it up. So that was pretty cool. Hey Dalton, thanks for getting back to me. Pretty good. You can just message a guy with the company last minute saying, hey, I'm doing a video on your video on your system here, like let me know a couple of these questions, and like a half an hour later it gets back to you. That's pretty cool. Anyways, let's go through a few more things. We've got some M-lock slots on the bottom. Again, the total length of this whole handguard is literally 15.87 inches. And I have to credit Black Label Bipod. They put all this information out there on their site. You can look at the specs, like literally the CAD drawings of these things. It's pretty slick. It gives you all the measurements, gives you all like the internal dimensions as well. So you're gonna know what type of gas block you're gonna need or what you're gonna need to fit. You can get these with a couple different barrel nuts as well, to fit with a few popular different AR-10 manufacturers like Armalite or Knights pattern rifles. And controls wise, I definitely forgot one important thing. This little dial up here, it's like a big screw, and you can spin it. And if you have it all the way spun to the right, I mean, as the shooter, that really locks down this. That locks this down. That really firms this up. Whereas if you like the movement, you can get it pretty stiff. Whereas if you loosen it off, this becomes a lot more loose. So again, just a really cool design. It definitely does seem like there's a lot of screws and nuts and bolts and pieces. However, I haven't had any problems with mine. I mean, they're just something you probably want to watch, or you could either Loctite or whatever you want to do with them, but I kind of like the industrial look of the finish. I mean, it's kind of like a spur. Like, look at this spur mount that I have. It's nuts and bolts all over it, or at least spots for them, and I think Spur is one of the best mount makers out there. And I don't know. I trust it. I mean, it's something I'm going to check. If something gets loose, like tighten it back up, add Loctite if you need. Otherwise, just a kind of a quick informational video on this very cool built-in Canada system. This comes out of Calgary, Alberta, and they're making waves, man, because like when Tikka and Sako, they start buying your stuff to put on their factory rifles, that's you've been noticed at that point anyways. So anyways, cool system, not cheap, but in my opinion, this is one of the nicest machined pieces of kit I've ever come. Like, you'll be hard pressed to find a rifle nice enough to mount this thing on. So that's literally my opinion of this thing. It's crazy. So hey guys, back inside now, and I've gotten my questions answered from Dalton. So let's just go through those. I asked him 4 questions. The first one was, what was the inspiration behind the name? I'm always kind of curious about that kind of thing. Also, what was the eureka moment with regard to this concept in general? 3, there was a technical question I asked about this rail, whether or not it was removable. And then finally, 4, I asked if there was any additional product developments or cool news they could share of what's coming down the pipe. So I got answers to all 4 of those. Let's kick things off with the name here, Black Label. Basically, they approached this thing from the ground up as being a premium product, and they really wanted to convey that in the name. So they felt Black Label did that, and then they took out the letters just to, again, condense that logo. They felt it looked more aesthetic, and in my opinion, it contributes to that mystique and that allure of the product, which I think, honestly, given the aesthetics of this thing, I think they nailed it. Question 2, the eureka moment. Well, Dalton has a partner, and it sounds like that partner is pretty smart. His name is Ure, and he came up with this concept of the central hub of this bipod mechanism being concentric with the barrel, or the rifle's barrel. So what that does, A, is it allows for this incredibly compact, streamlined system, overall system, and B, it actually greatly contributes to the stability of the system, because now your center of gravity with this whole system, your stability point, is in line with your bore axis. So that's really cool, and that just helps, traditionally if you have a big chunky bipod on top of a section of rail with a big QD system, again, as I mentioned earlier, I still love those systems, but I think this system definitely has its place, and it definitely shines here because you get a really sturdy platform. It feels like it has a lower center of gravity, and it just feels like it's one with the rifle, which is really cool, and I guess that's what they were going for. So I think they definitely did that. Next up, on a technical note, there's a rail. I was curious. You can see all the screw points here. I thought, hey, maybe you can pop that off. This is actually I think this might be one of the nitrided steel components. Nah, I might be wrong. It might all be aluminum. Anodized aluminum and nitrided steel are basically the components that go into this thing. And I thought, well, this is a big, long section of rail. Personally, I'm not using it. I got a scope back here, not doing anything up here. If I could take this off, I would see some weight savings. Plus, if I threw a bigger optic on here with a larger diameter objective, I could potentially low mount it and have a nice, tight fit, get away with a lower height mount, saving some more weight and some more, height over bore. It just would be a good system. However, that is not quite the case. This rail is integral to the structure of the system, the handguard in full. However, they said based on feedback, they could look at doing a shaved down or more minimalistic approach where they could get rid of some of these rail lugs and accommodate, a wider suppressor, just shave some of that off. On that note, given the fact that I have Dalton and Uriz, seems like I got their ear. If you guys have any questions on this thing, hit me up in the comments below. I will keep track of them, at least for the first week or so here. And I will pose those questions to the guys, and whatever they get back to me with, I'll post the Q&A in the description below. And then finally, new updates with the system and future, production, future good news coming down the pipe. He basically said they are working with a few more OEM manufacturers that want to put this as a factory option with their guns. In addition, there may or may not be a lightweight version of this thing coming out down the road. Again, given the weight and the distribution of this thing overall, I'm not shying away from it. I think it still totally makes sense. And you're really not giving anything up weight-wise by going to this system, assuming you were going to have a bipod on your rifle anyways. I think this is still a gorgeous take, and it's all metal. But still good to hear that they're looking to innovate and pursue another weight reduction system. And guys, that's going to basically wrap up my gun gear video on the Black Label Bipod. So I've got a bonus gun for you guys, and then we're going to call her a day. So today we have the Fame SG543, this guy right here. Basically a Chilean licensed copy of the SIG 540 series. Now, this guy's chambered in 5.56, and it's a nice little shorty barrel there. I've actually got a war comp on this thing by Surefire. Pretty cool, because it's got a 15x1mm thread. Pretty slick. Overall, this is a really nice gun, and again, based on that SIG 540 series. So, just really nice system. Got a rock and lock mag, that almost AR-like control for the bolt release, and then still you've got that cool, you AK lovers out there, it should scratch your itch. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thanks a ton. Arm&Gun out.